Oh, hello, everybody. Sorry for the delay here. We've just had some technical difficulties, but we're here tonight for a Talent Till talk for Neuro ICU. So we're going to give it like 1 or 2 more minutes and then we'll get started. So as today goes on, if you have some questions, please put it in the chat, but I'll ask a few questions just to break the ice a little bit. And I'll just do a little soft introduction. I'm Robert. I am the nurse recruiter here at Atrium Wake. I represent the Winston campus, Lexington campus, and Davie campus. And I recruit for ICUs, EDs, and a couple other miscellaneous departments. If you could please put in the chat, where you're going to graduate school, when you're going to graduate, the schools that you're graduating from, your interest. If you are interested in Neuro ICU, go ahead, put in the chat, give us your reasoning behind that. We'd love to see it and get to feel for, what you're looking for here at Baptist as well. So don't be shy, and please, if you want to turn your camera on and ask questions later on, we'll be happy to, speak to you and go from there. So we'll just get started here in about a minute or so, and we'll, start talking about the great atmosphere here at Atrium Health Wake.
And I'm just going to interject. For those of you who are on, thank you so much for joining. My name is Lauren. Also, I'm here to just support Rob and his team tonight. I'm just going to let you guys know, Billy and Josh, you guys should be able to turn your cameras on because I have made you presenters. We've had some hiccups. So if y'all don't mind turning your cameras on if you're a presenter, if you can. All right, we see some people typing, which is great. Glad to know you guys know how to work the chat. So we've got one person saying, hey, I'm Kristen, graduating from App State. Awesome, in May. And I'm interested in Neuro ICU. Congrats, Kristen. That's a big deal. Or Kirsten. I'm going to go with Kirsten. It's too bad that your year kind of started off not so great. But
Yeah,
hopefully things have gotten better.
Yes. All
And
right.
we have Libby too. Oh my gosh, both from App State. Excellent. I wonder if you guys know each other. I'm assuming you do. It's not that big of a school,
Most definitely. Right? Yeah, most definitely. Oh, that's great. That's good that things got situated over there, and glad everything's operational. So Josh and Billy, were you able to turn on your cameras, or are you still having difficulties?
I got mine turned on.
It's a blank screen, Josh.
How do I get it to unblank the screen? Because on my thing, it shows like it's on, but I don't know how to. Do I have to hit share content?
No, do not hit that.
Okay.
I'll try and figure it out for you, Billy. Or for you, Josh.
I'm still having some trouble getting this camera to work. I think I want the mic to work if you guys can hear me, though.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it okay to get things started, Lauren? And by the time we get to them, it'll be okay?
Yeah, I think so. Go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so tonight the Till Talk is about Neuro ICU, but we'll give a comprehensive overview of our organization at Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist and give you, reasons to begin your nursing career with us. So here are some pictures here that shows the collaborations among, different styles of departments and what we have to offer here at Atrium Wake. So, and as I mentioned in the beginning, please, if you have a question, don't hesitate to ask. We're very, knowledgeable group that we can try to get the answers to you today. Or if we don't know the answer, we will definitely get it to you in a timely manner. But please, ask the questions, and we'll be glad to, answer anything that you have for us tonight. To present the team tonight, I'm Robert Swigga, the nurse recruiter. Again, I represent the ICU's EDs at the main campus and Davie and Lexington, and a couple other departments as well. Tonight's highlights are Samantha Hicks. She is the nurse manager for Neuro ICU at our Winston campus, and William Neighbors, who is our charge nurse at Neuro ICU. And we have Josh Truitt, who's not pictured here, but he will be later on. He is a new grad nurse that's going to speak to his experience later on in the presentation. So just to talk a little bit about our facility, we are Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist, but we've come a long way to our name. We've first started out as North Carolina Baptist Hospital, went to Wake Forest Baptist Health, joined up with Atrium in Charlotte, and Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist is our name currently, and now our umbrella has grown to Advocate Health, Advocate Health. So you'll see some new brandings over the course of the next few years or so. So that's our much larger umbrella. And now that's unified us to become the 5th largest health system in the Midwest and in the United States as well. So this gives you a snapshot of what we are today. But I will say this will definitely change in the year or so to come with our teammates' growth, the hospitals. We're going to get a Greensboro hospital that's going to be completed by 2026. We have 11 urgent cares, but that now is 13 as we have made our footprint in Greensboro, North Carolina. So we have those operational and up to date running today. Our emergency departments are scattered throughout the triad. Cancer locations is a vital part of us because we're an academic medical center, so we really emphasize cancer care. And as you can see, our revenue is 4.3 billion, but that definitely is going to expand over the next few years as we grow as an entity. So just to give you in a 24-hour notice, patient encounters are over close to 12,000. Surgeries are at 175, but as we expand our surgery center, that's definitely going to go up. Babies delivered, 13. Physician visits, as we expand throughout the state of North Carolina and other areas, that will go up. Virtual care has definitely become an emphasis on our organization, where we're trying to enhance and reach more patients in that capacity. And our emergency department visits is 652, and I'm sure that is definitely going to rise with our new care tower being rolled out this upcoming year. So as a whole for the Winston campus, we're an 885 bed hospital. And that includes Brenner Children's, which is, conjoined with it. It is also now Levine Children's. So Brenner's is under that umbrella as well. I could foresee with the additions that 885 bed will increase too, just, as expansion begins and we grow within Winston-Salem, just a lot of opportunities to build upon here at the Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist. So just this provides you a small sample size, but it's just going to be much larger and more information to share and a lot of growth within, which is great for our nurses with their opportunities. So here's our Wake Market locations of our 5 main hospitals that we work with under the Atrium Wake umbrella. So High Point Medical Center. Just some fun facts about that is it is a furniture capital of the world. As soon as you roll up to High Point, you're going to see some, dressers, some socks, out of different types of places and stuff. So it's a really artsy community to where, it's a great place to work, and it's probably the 2nd largest hospital that we have in our market. North Wilkesboro is basically in the mountains. So if you're like the rural life and, mountain ranges, that's a great place to work. Small community hospital up there. Racing is a big part of Wilkesboro, and it's very rich in history. As the Winston-Salem, is our main, the mothership, as we call it. It is probably so large that they have their own zip code, which they do because of how large of a facility that it is. And a great atmosphere downtown. They have baseball, minor league baseball, microbreweries, all that fun stuff. So a great place to have a, career, but also a social life and, keep it entertaining for yourself. Lexington Medical Center is probably the best barbecue in the state of North Carolina. They do have one of the top cafeterias out of all of our hospitals, I would say. Bologna sandwich is definitely a milestone that offers over there. So definitely, if you ever get a chance to work there, I highly recommend trying out. Great place to be and great barbecue. And Bermuda Run is our Davie Medical Center. It is the jewel of the community hospitals because it's such a, very nice upcoming area with great staff and great place to be. A lot of good retention there because everybody likes working there, but it's also, just a great place to live as well. So if you're ever out that way, I highly recommend you get a chance to, check Davie out as well. All right, so just to give you a high level overview, the focus tonight is the Winston campus Neuro ICU, but just to give you a highlight of the medical center is, again, we have 885 total beds. We have a new ED ICUs opening up in spring, which is our care tower. So just to give you an example, our adult ED is moving into that facility, CVICU is moving in, and trauma ICU. And I believe a couple other areas as well, but those are the three main components that are moving into that area. We are a level 1 trauma center, home to Brenner's Children and the Birth Center. And then again, our new surgery center is opening up soon. And also we have an eye institute that is coming in downtown at our plaza. And then we do have an outpatient pediatric clinic that will eventually open up down the road as well. And what that leads into is our Neuro ICU, which is the main event tonight. They have a 24-bed unit. And I'm going to let Sam and her team take over and discuss more in depth on their unit and what it entails with the day-to-day. So I'll leave it up to Sam and her team to talk about her unit.
All right, Robert, can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can.
Perfect. All right, so just a little bit about the Neuro ICU. Like Robert said, we are a 24-bed unit. Roughly, we admit around 125 patients a month. So a lot of patients come in and out of our unit. Something about the Neuro ICU, obviously critical thinking and problem solving are both key aspects that you need to have as a new graduate nurse or an experienced nurse for any ICU that you apply to, but Neuro ICU specifically because little minor changes make a big difference in these types of patients. So a lot of critical thinking goes that way. We are a comprehensive stroke center as well. That means that we have the highest level of stroke accreditation that you can achieve. With that, it means that we have neurosurgeons that are on call or in-house 24/7. So anytime a stroke comes in and needs a procedure, that procedure would be done at our facility, whereas our other campuses that Robert mentioned, those facilities would transfer to us for that type of intervention. So that's an achievement that we apply for every 2 years, and a lot goes into that, and it's a lot of the work of what the Neuro ICU does. So very proud of our team for continuing to achieve that comprehensive stroke center certification. Career growth and opportunities, that's something that we really key in on in as Baptist as a facility, but in the Neuro ICU as well. Certifications are obviously something that everyone's looking forward to coming out of school and growing their resume and growing as a bedside nurse. So we offer a lot of different certifications that you can do, as well as a CNCP program, which is like a traditional clinical ladder program. And this has 3 different levels that you can achieve, which ends up to a 15% raise for certain things that you do on the unit and degrees that you hold and certifications that you hold. So a lot of opportunity for growth. And we love to watch our nurses grow, and we are right there with you every step of that way. A little bit about our patient population. Being a certified stroke center, we keep a pretty robust stroke population, whether that's your ischemic stroke or your hemorrhagic strokes. T&K patients, strokes that are needing EVD drains to relieve that pressure on the brain, our procedures that are post-IR procedures or our neurological procedures, such as brain tumor removals. We do see some seizure disorders and as well as neuromuscular conditions such as Guillain-Barré and myasthenia gravis. I am going to let Billy now hop on and talk about a little bit about our teamwork and collaboration from a bedside nurse's standpoint.
Sam. Sorry, my video is not working quite well. I'm not exactly sure why that's happening. But yeah, so as far as one of the best things about working in Neuro ICU is that we do have a heavy workload, but we also strive to have really good team ethics and work together really well as teams. We've had, I don't know how countless travel nurses come through that consistently extend their contract with us just because they say that we work so well together and we support each other. So that's a big part of the environment that we like to foster and kind of keep going. I would say that also we have really good communication between the bedside nurse and the upper level people. So like the APPs and like the attendings, most of us feel very, very comfortable just approaching them with our own ideas. It's never, I've never once felt like I was kind of shunned or like any of my ideas were kind of shot down out of a place. And we do also like to emphasize a lot of education on the unit. So especially on night shift, we've had multiple APPs start with doing like education kind of snippets. Well, they'll just take you out of your assignment. I'll watch them for you. And like 15 minutes just to kind of explain like what patients you're seeing. You can ask questions. You can kind of get an idea of like what you should be expecting to see with these patients. Because a lot of times with neuro exam, you're looking at where they are, but also minute details can kind of tell you where they're going. And so really, devil's in the detail, and we really like detail in our unit.
Thank you, Billy. So just a little bit about our team and what kind of nurses we have on our unit. So at the bottom, you can see the nurses that have a lot of years of service at Baptist Hospital, which we are so thankful for and truly shows their dedication to Baptist and Neuro ICU. They have not always worked in Neuro ICU for all of these years, but have been with us for quite a while. 16 plus years, we have 5 nurses, 11 to 15 years, 3, 6 to 10 years, 7, and then 1 to 5 years, 29. And yes, that is a lot of 1 to 5 year nurses, but coming out of COVID, we really had to build our team back up. Just so many people left to do travel nursing, and that group of nurses learn off of each other, feed off of each other, encourage each other to grow. And the amount that our 1 year nurses that are just coming off or are hitting their 1 year right now, is pretty amazing, the things that they are already doing and achieving and how much they just care about the unit and the patient population. So pretty awesome to see that. And then a little bit about those nursing staff. So we do have 15 nurses that are certified nurses. So that means taking your CCRN exam, your SCRN exam. This does not include like your ACLS kind of certification. So these are certifications that you would achieve after a year of being a nurse in that certain area. We have 19 enrolled CNCP nurses. That is a typo on here. So 19 of our nurses have achieved that CNCP program to further their bedside skills and also get a little money in return for that. So very thankful for that as well. 3 nurses have their MSN, and we have 38 nurses with their BSN. This is just a little snippet. Last May, we were able to go to NTI, which is your Critical Care Nurses Conference in Denver. We were able to submit a poster and present that poster on continuous glucose monitoring at this event. So we love to see nurses do projects. We want to see you do projects. We love to send you to conferences for projects that you are achieving, and we work together on this. This is not a one-person show, and so all four of us kind of really keyed into this with a couple of our endocrine residents, and did some pretty awesome things. And then another smaller conference that we have back home annually is our neuro conference, and we have presenting on that same poster that we presented on at AACN, and then also a pupilometer poster that we presented on. So a lot of opportunities for growth. Open ratio is 1 to 2 in our unit, and post-COVID and having so many new people, work gets hard, and nurses burn out quickly. This year, we were able to apply for a grant through Stress First Aid, which really focuses on nursing well-being inside the workplace and outside of the workplace. And so we just got that approval and did training in December, and that's something that we're going to kick off strong in 2025, is focusing on nursing well-being in the work environment, outside of the work environment. How can we build a team? What can we do to support you? And just thank you for all that you do every day.
And Sam, I would like to talk about that for a second, if I could.
Yes.
We are actively trying to see out things we might be able to do as team building just outside of even just the work environment. We had that Christmas party this year that turned out really, really well. And like I said, we just really do preface the teamwork, but also you mentioned that we do a 1 to 2 patient ratio, which is very, very good especially for learning, especially neuro nuances. It's really great. I've been here over 7 years now, and I've never once been asked to take more than 2 ICU patients at a time. And that's really crucial. There's a lot of hospitals that are pushing to have higher patient ratios just to kind of help with budgeting. That's never been brought up to us whatsoever. So it's really great.
Just a little bit about our nurse training. It is a 16-week preceptorship where you work one-to-one with your preceptors. You do go off the unit for 5 days to attend the critical care academy that teaches you all of critical care that you will know. And so that is taught by our critical care educators. During this orientation phase, we try to check in with you and your preceptor every 2 weeks. We sit down and we set goals, and we talk about the good things happening and the bad things, and where can we go from here, and what patients have you seen and what have you not seen, so we can truly get as much experience as we can in that 16 weeks, because it is crucial and it's a lot to learn. So we're very intentional about that 16 weeks and making sure that you're progressing through as you need to. And then Josh. Josh joined our team this past July as a new grad nurse, and he's done some pretty awesome things so far, and it's just truly jumped in and been a part of the team. And so I will let him talk.
Y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so I joined in July this past summer, and started. I really have enjoyed my experience so far. They started out, like I said, she said it's a 16-week program. Usually what they'll do, you'll start out on nights is what I did, and then I transitioned to a little bit of period of days, where I got to see kind of how day shift work. You see a little bit more like the planning and the care plan that goes around the patients you'll have. And then I transitioned back into nights. So you kind of get to see the full picture of both day and nights during it. But it definitely does prepare you during your 16 weeks. There's never really anything I didn't see that when I came off them, I was on my own, that I didn't feel prepared for. A lot of it was that even though you have your preceptor that you're kind of set with and you work with and you have your patients, even on like nights, days, anytime, if there's something that comes up on the unit that you might not have seen, or maybe you want more experience with, even other nurses will come and kind of grab you and be like, hey, I have an EVD, or we're putting an EVD, or we're having a rapid intubation, and they'll kind of grab you and work with you, and you get to kind of see everything through all of our beds and all of our patients, not just necessarily what your assignment might be that time period. But it's definitely been a good experience. I mean, I've learned, I went from, having no skills as a nurse and like a straight up new nurse, never been an LPN or anything before. And, now I feel comfortable with, working with drips, ventilators, different devices, whether it's an EVD, A-lines and all that. I feel, comfortable throughout the process of the preceptorship, and they definitely prepare you very well for it. I'm trying to think what else I can go with. As far as the team environment, we definitely have a very team-oriented environment. I mean, like I said, whether you're getting an admission, whether you have a patient that might have some changes going on, the team never really hesitates to help you with it. So you're never ever alone. I know, you have your assignments and you have what you're doing, but if you ever need help, there's, right out the door, there's anyone that'll help you with what's going on. They also educate you during that process too.
I mean, yeah. Just last week, what was it? Last Saturday, we had that person down in, what was it, 23. You were with me there, Josh. And then we looked up on the monitor and something was happening in a different room. And I asked you to go down there, and then I popped down there a few minutes later, and everything was under control because there was 4 nurses down there helping too. So it's the teamwork's stellar. And I was like, do you need help getting this stuff set up for intubation? He was like pretty new off orientation. You were like, oh, I've seen 6 or 8 of these already. Yeah, we're good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, they prepare you very well for it, for sure. I mean, like I said, I know that during the end of the 16 weeks, I was like, oh, can I do this? Am I prepared? And then when I came off, I was actually more prepared than I had anticipated originally. I was like, all right, this is definitely something I can do.
Hey, Josh, I've got a question for you. This is Lauren.
Yeah.
What drew you to Neuro ICU? Were you interested in other units? And what made you choose Neuro to start your new grad journey?
So I mean, I applied to a couple different units, and a couple different hospitals actually, because I'm about an hour and 45 away from here. So I applied to a couple different hospitals, so I could, kind of get a good sense of what was going on, and just to see. And originally, no, I mean, Neuro ICU was not what I planned on, but I actually, when I came in, I shadowed on the unit when I interviewed with Sam, and I stayed for probably about 5 or 6 hours that day, and I, saw a whole bunch of stuff, got a good look at what the environment was like, what the work environment was like, and compared to other hospitals, it was a lot better, I thought, honestly. And even then, when I wasn't even, an employee yet, that people were taking me and showing me stuff, they were talking to me about stuff, and it was very inviting. And then I liked the patients, and I saw the critical care that went into them, and that it was definitely something I could see myself doing and kind of working with. And ironically, neuro was actually, I felt like one of my weaker points when I was in school, but it's actually, I feel like it's become one of my strong assets now that I kind of have, and I like it. I like the patients we get. I like the kind of teamwork that we go around, and I really enjoy it.
Thanks. That actually brought up another question that I have maybe for you or for Sam. So you brought up that you shadowed. I know that we have a lot of people who are graduating or they are just starting nursing school. We've got someone who's at Forsyth Tech. Is there, Sam, maybe you can talk to this, how, if people are interested in coming and shadowing, what do they need to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Shadowing is something we typically offer after you apply, or if you're interested in applying and you're not graduating quite yet. So the best thing to do is either reach out to me or Robert if you have applied, and we always start with an interview, kind of get a feel for what you like and see if you like the environment that we're speaking to. But then we almost always offer a shadow day, because I don't want you to come into this unit. I don't know much about neuro, but I like the ICU environment. Just to for you to get it for a feel of the team too. I think that's so important. Like you could love the patient population, but your team makes it or breaks it. So after interview, I typically always set that up for people that are interested.
All right, cool. Thanks.
And yeah, so I'll speak to this part. So right now, for our May cohort, we are looking for 5 new grads to fill. And we do have a need for experience on nights, and we do have 1 day shift opening available as the QR code takes you directly to Neuro ICU. So if you're new here or have already applied, we'll take a look at you and set something up. And, we'll go from there on how things roll out for you. So it's very competitive. Everybody wants a level 1 trauma center. So we try to, get everybody in the door we can and get to find the right fits. So we appreciate like the interest and whatnot tonight, especially in Neuro ICU. So we'll definitely be reaching out with follow-up and getting you something on the books if you'd like to interview, if you haven't interviewed already. So I'll talk about our benefits. This is the HR portion of it. So our benefits are day 1 covered. So when you officially start, you have 30 days from your start date to make your selections, and then your day 1 covered. It's just the fact that your cards come in about a week or 2 after that for your insurance, and we have med costs for our medical insurance, which is a local insurance company in Winston. Competitive pay, I've tell people that we make strides each and every year. We look at the market and competitors, and we try to either move the needle or move past the needle. So we definitely make sure that you have a great experience, but also get paid appropriately. Now, sign-on bonus wise, eligible positions. So our ICUs are the most sought out areas, and our sign-on bonuses for new grads focus more towards med-surg because med-surg is the hardest to fill. So $10,000 is for the experience, because experience is also hard to come by for ICU sometimes. So we try to, emphasize that, but that could change in the future or so. But that's where we're at the moment with the current, incoming of resumes and whatnot applicants. Retirement purposes, we're a nonprofit, so we have what's called a 403B through retirement. The company we use is Transamerica. We can earn up to 7% up to employer, paid retirement. So it's like as soon as you start, you can start contributing right into that retirement. Matches don't go into play until 90 days after your start date. And if we do meet our metrics as an entity, they give us that additional 1%, which will be 7 total, and make that deposit into our accounts. Now, we are a teaching hospital to emphasize our growth as well. We're getting a brand new Charlotte medical center down there for our doctors and whatnot to go to school. So we love continuing education. So for bachelor's degree, you have to be an employee with us 6 months for both the master's and the bachelor's. So employee for 6 months, you can earn up to $2,500 per calendar year, and we use ED Assist for the program, so they maintain your eligibility to receive those benefits. Also, too, with the degrees, we do offer book compensation, which is $12 per credit hour. Up to 6 weeks of paid parental leave. So that's new and enhanced over the last year or so. That's really beneficial. You start earning PTO the day 1 that you start. So what you can accumulate is up to 200 hours per year, and then that moves the needle to 240 at year 5. And then at year 10, which is the max, it goes to 320. And the more years that you stay with us, the gradual your BTO hours increase bi-weekly. Another great thing about our benefits is we have Live Well incentives. So it's a program you participate throughout the year. You do like 3 or 4 tasks. As you complete the tasks, they pay out you monetary contributions. And we use like a debit card, and that debit card is used for your medical expenses. You just need to provide them a receipt. and they'll take care of that medical expense within that calendar year. Certification wise, depending on the certification costs, we do pay for that as well. And then discounts on schools. We have like about 5 or 6 schools that provide that work with us. I would say the top 3 that we have are Liberty University, Chamberlain University, and American Sentinel. All 3 average around a 15% tuition discount for enrolling in their programs. And then as Sam touched pointed on the CNCP program, the CNCP follows education and certification tracks. So the higher you get your degree, the more you can get that percentage. So the 15% would be a master's in a DNP, the 10% will be a bachelor's degree has been completed, and then the 5% is you enroll yourself into a bachelor's program or obtain a certificate. So definitely want to emphasize on that and get you the incentives that we have to offer, and furthermore after that for our benefits. And just one last time, as a reminder, our recruitment team here. Also, I forgot to emphasize on the 5 hospitals. So what I forgot to mention about our 5 hospitals as a whole and what we are as an organization is with our purpose and commitment, like as we have for our new advocate rollout, Advocate Health, we lift everyone up. I feel like this past, couple months and stuff with everything that happened in Nashville, I feel like as a community with all of our hospitals, we really work together as one to give back to the Western Carolina folks. And it was really comforting to see our growth and teamwork as a unity, to where we took patients from Mission and a couple hospitals over there from Asheville. We distributed them out to different parts of our organization to help those people in need. We had a mobile hospital go over to the Asheville area and support those people over there that desperately need medical care. And then we've also made numerous donations for toys, food, clothing, all that fun stuff as a whole entity. And even our Wilkesboro campus was affected in some capacity, where some of our teammates went over to help them, and help out with shifts and do as much as possible for those teammates affected. So it's just a great, warm family feeling the way that we do things here as an organization. So just want to emphasize that. I know I forgot to mention, that portion of it, but I think it's very vital for recruitment because of what we do as employees and what we do for those affected that we need to go above and beyond for. So just wanted to harp on that as I missed that. So just wanted to bring that to the attention. And then, so if anybody has any additional questions, for us, I mean, I know you heard a great spiel about the Neuro ICU and what it entails. Do we have any neuro specific questions, HR questions? I'm sure Josh, Billy and Sam would love to answer any directive questions you have for them. And then we could, keep this thing going and see what you got for us.
I mean, I must say, coming over as a newer nurse, whenever I started out in Neuro ICU, it kind of blew my mind, some of the stuff that we actually do at bedside. We'll literally start to drill into someone's head right there, and that just kind of blows people's minds. But after you do it a few times, it kind of becomes, I don't know, less scary. But yeah, the stuff that we do at the hospital is kind of like when I describe it to other people, even other nurses that I know through in different hospitals, they just think it's crazy. But it's really great experience, especially if you wanted to try and go for a higher education. We've had quite a few nurses who actually, during COVID and right after COVID, went on and they're nurse practitioners now and they're in CRNA school. So we have a lot of upward growth in our organization, and I feel like that's something that's should be highlighted.
Oh, hey, Sam, I was going to ask you a question too. So dealing with neuro ICU patients, and you work with a couple ancillary, like other like PT, OT. Can you talk about your collaboration with those areas and what they do, how you guys work as a team? Maybe talk about the spacious, another thing I think is key for nurses is having room to work, right? So I feel like you're, just by coming and visit, the rooms that are provided to the patients are very spacious where a lot of people work. If you could just elaborate on their work areas and, how it looks on a day to day to give them a snapshot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a large unit. We moved into our unit roughly 8.5, 9 years ago now. So still relatively new. With the move, we obviously built rooms big. So every room has transport monitors to go with the patient to scan, couches for families that turn into beds, a full bathroom, if the patients are able to use that. We also have ceiling lifts in each room, which is not seen anywhere else in the hospital other than the cancer center, which is newer. So not having to worry about moving patients, getting a ton of nurses when you have these lifts in the room. As far as working with other parts of our teams, we do see a lot of speech therapy. And this is more so on day shift, but therapies work with our patients all day, whether it's physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech. Um, Making sure that we are getting these patients back to their baseline as quickly as possible and rehabbing those patients day one in the ICU. Um, Another key part that I don't think we've touched on is our providers. We are quite spoiled with our provider population. We have nurse practitioners and PAs that are on our floor 24/7 to take care of our patients. They do not see patients outside of our unit, so whatever our census is in the unit is who they see. So you don't have to worry about paging anyone in the middle of the night and having to wait for someone to come to your bedside. These people are in our unit 24/7. And that goes for our attending as well. We have an attending that's there all day shift. And then they come into night shift to get night shift started and kind of feel, do I need to stay? Do I need to go? But they're on call for that entire night shift. But like I said, their provider that is under them will be present on the unit that entire night.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I could talk for a second about that as well. So it is very nice coming when I was a new nurse. Like, you always hear about if you on social media or something, or Facebook, wherever it is, and I always like I have to reach out to the provider and wait for them. And we have a method that we can like kind of chat to them. It's called secure chat, that we can message them if there's like a thing. But if there's like an actual problem, you can it's just a couple steps and you can go find them and be like, hey, I got this going on. Will you come look? And or you can call them. We have a phone, and they're you always right there within less than a minute, almost all the time. So I mean, it's very beneficial to have them right there at your access to them anytime you really need them, or if you even have a question or an idea that you can pass by them, and they're very receptive to our ideas, and they definitely collaborate and work with us and as a team to kind of treat the patient, treat what's going on, and definitely improve outcomes for them.
I probably got one more question for you, Sam, and then we could, wrap this up. I know you had a couple milestones, small milestones, recently, which you had 365 days CLAPSy, and I believe it was something else that you can elaborate on. But, just dealing with that adversity where you've, as a team, you had some, hiccups along the way, to lead to that, but then also how you guys came together as a unit to overcome those hurdles, which I think even the smallest victories for a unit with adversity is the biggest and most impressive, and how, it was recognized, from leadership, you and your leadership to appreciate your team. So just elaborate, how adversity, affects your unit. How do you bring people together and accomplish things? Because I think that's another successful attribute of a unit is when things really get difficult, how do you guys come together to prevent things from happening again, especially for a whole year is pretty impressive with small details type of things.
Yeah, of course. So 2023 was a rougher year for our unit. Coming out of COVID, got a new medical director. I was nurse manager for coming on about a year and a half there. So just a lot of new faces and a lot of changes. So that year we had an uptick in two of our major infections that we can see in our patients, which is our catheter associated UTIs and our central line associated bloodstream infections, which number one are not great for patients, increases length of stay, decreases their outcomes, and a lot more goes into that. But also it takes a hit on the hospital financially and becoming magnet status and pushing the pathway to excellence. You got to prove that you're doing the best for these patients every day. So big goals in 2024 were to reduce those types of infections. So worked hard with bedside nurses. This did not just come out of me at all. Our bedside nurses put in the effort to learn about what types of infections we had and what caused those and build projects based off of this. And this was completely nurse driven. Providers were not really involved with this. And we were able to reduce our both of those rates. We haven't had any in 2024. So no infections in 2024 for quality or CLABSI. And our CLABSIs were really our contamination issue, and we were able to reduce the contamination of draw in those cultures by 70%, which is pretty amazing. So, and like I said, this is nothing that I did. This is the bedside nurses day in and day out, understanding what these infections mean, how it affects the patients and the organization, and wanting to do what is best for them. And it's not that we ever didn't want to do the best, we just didn't know. And so providing, really engaging all the staff on what we're doing and why we're doing it, and not just saying like, hey, here's a new protocol, let's roll with it. The why behind everything, I think, is so important because these nurses do care so much and want to do what is best for our patients day in and day out. So this year, looking forward to such a big year as we will focus on pressure injuries. So now that we've got a good hold on those other types of infection, pressure injuries are just as bad for a patient as those types of infections. So tackling a couple things at a time. Excited for that this year, and just truly how much the unit collaborated last year on those projects. I have no doubt that this year will be such a success as well.
Thank you, Sam. That, I mean, that's highly important right there. It just shows adversity and come togetherness. And, you know, like you said, RN driven. I feel like that's an absolute, you know, big seller to me when I talk with, you know, applicants and potentials, because, you know, the culture sells the place, and it makes it comfortable, but it also makes sure that, you know, you're going to learn and be the best nurse that you can be. So thanks for sharing that. So if there's not any other questions, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you for taking an hour out of your day to listen to what we have. Hopefully this information was very helpful and knowledgeable to further your interest in Neuro ICU. And we all also use this, you know, for recruitment purposes. So we're thankful for all the participants. We're thankful for Lauren and Madison who are on this, guiding this and put this PowerPoint together. We appreciate you, and we're looking forward to the future and what it holds. And we hope to see you down the road. So hopefully everyone has a great rest of the semester, and we'll talk soon, you know, if interested, and we'll hope to see you in Neuro ICU down the road as well.